Could all this be just superstition, or is there something deeper behind these funeral rituals and ghostly encounters? I'm Kim, and this is Hung Channel.
Do you know the chilling truths behind Hong Kong's funeral traditions? Tonight, we delve into the eerie practices, ancient rituals, and ghostly stories that haunt funeral homes across the city. From the mysterious breaking hell ceremony to the spine-tingling supernatural occurrences shared by funeral professionals, you won't believe what's lurking in the shadows. By the end of this journey, you'll understand why death in Hong Kong is far from just a final goodbye. It's a gateway to something far darker. Chapter 1: Funeral Procedures in Hong Kong. The funeral process in Hong Kong generally follows several key steps. First, the family selects a funeral home and funeral parlor. When making this choice, the family will take into consideration the deceased or their own religious beliefs and ceremonial needs. Typically, if the family holds religious beliefs, they will choose corresponding religious ritual, such as Taoist, Buddhist, Christian, or Catholic services. On the day of the memorial service, the family will prepare floral wreaths, incense, candles, and other offerings, and arranges for a funeral master or priest to conduct the ceremony. At the beginning of the ritual, the family will bow 3 times, or observe a moment of silence as a sign of respect and farewell to the deceased. This will be followed by the chanting of sutras and other religious rituals, especially in Taoist services, where the Taoist priest will wield a pitchwood sword to perform the breaking the hell ritual, helping the deceased transcend, releasing them from the hellish realms. After the ceremony, a night vigil will take place. The family and friends will stay in the funeral parlor overnight, keeping the deceased company as a final act of mourning and remembrance. However, this practice gradually faded around the 1990s. The next day, the family arranges for cremation, bidding the deceased their final farewell. Typically, the family will choose a suitable crematorium and place the deceased's ashes in an urn, conducting a final burial ritual. Chapter 2: History of Funeral Practices in Hong Kong. In early Hong Kong, the Chinese community did not have specialized funeral homes. Funerals were often handled by the family or the village, with the deceased usually being buried on hillsides or in remote burial sites. While this method was simple, as the city developed, sanitation issues began to emerge, and the demand for funeral services grew. It was in this context that the concept of yizhuang, or charitable funeral homes, came into being and became central to the early funeral industry in Hong Kong. The first recorded instance of such a facility was in 1873, when the Tung Wah Hospital established a yizhuang to store coffins and offer basic funeral services. In 1899, the Hong Kong government allocated land in Sandy Bay to build the Tung Wah Yizhuang, which became one of the largest of its kind at the time. Tung Wah Yizhuang not only provided coffin storage services, but also assisted in the burial process, including transporting the deceased's remains back to their hometown for final rites. With time, the advent of modern funeral homes, particularly during the colonial period, saw the influence of Western funeral customs. This led to the professionalization and systematization of the funeral industry in Hong Kong. With improvements in public health and government regulation of the funeral industry, Hong Kong gradually established modernized funeral homes and crematoriums. Chapter 3. Funeral Taboos in Hong Kong. During funerals in Hong Kong, mourners typically offer a bak gam, a form of monetary offering to the bereaved family. The amount is not fixed but must always end with the digit 1, such as 101 or 301. In return, the family will give the mourners a get yi, which is a token of appreciation, usually placed in a white envelope marked with the characters get yi. Inside, there is often a tissue, a candy, and a $1 coin. The tissue symbolizes wiping away the mourner's tears. The candy represents the hope of sweetening the sorrow, and the coin signifies the bereaved family's gratitude. These items, however, should not be taken home. Doing so is believed to bring bad luck. It is customary to eat the candy, use the tissue, or spend the coin on the day it is received. The family should avoid saying thank you during the funeral, as this phrase is considered inauspicious. After the funeral, the family should not return directly home. Instead, they should visit a public place, such as a temple or restaurant, to prevent bringing back bad luck. Mourners are advised not to wear bright clothes, such as red or colorful patterns, as this would conflict with the solemnity of the event. Black or dark-colored clothing is preferred. In the funeral parlor, one must maintain a respectful and quiet demeanor, no loud talking, laughing, or inappropriate comments. It is also important to avoid pointing at the deceased's photo, the altar, or the coffin, as a sign of respect. Upon leaving the funeral home, one must cross over a fire pan to rid oneself of the yin energy associated with the funeral. Chapter 4. The Breaking Hell Ritual. The Breaking Hell Ritual is a highly symbolic religious ceremony rooted in Taoist beliefs, designed to help the deceased escape the torments of hell and move on to the afterlife. According to Taoist doctrine, hell is divided into 9 levels, each with its own punishment to judge the deceased based on their sins. The purpose of the Breaking Hell ritual is to guide the deceased through these levels, allowing them to break free from the hellish punishments. During this ritual, the Taoist priest wears traditional Taoist robes and wields a peach-wood sword, performing symbolic actions such as stepping across broken tiles and chanting sacred incantations. The presence of fire pans and 9 tiles symbolizes the flames of hell. These actions symbolize the process of the deceased's transcendence and liberation. Some say that this ritual is only performed for young people or those who died suddenly. However, according to tradition, any deceased person can undergo the Breaking Hell ritual to attain transcendence. In modern times, this ritual has been simplified, but its core religious beliefs and cultural values remain intact. Despite the shortened duration of the ritual, it still serves as a means of helping the deceased let go of their earthly attachments and move on to the afterlife. Chapter 5. Supernatural Stories in Funeral Homes. Within the funeral industry in Hong Kong, there are many stories shared by funeral professionals and family members about paranormal experiences. One widely circulated story comes from a ghostly experience shared by the host of a paranormal TV program, Edmund Poon. During a larger funeral ceremony, just as the funeral director was about to close the coffin, they discovered that the deceased's body had vanished, even though the coffin and the accompanying burial items remained untouched. The family and attendees were terrified, and after a fruitless search, it was suggested that the deceased may have unfinished business and wished to change the cremation arrangements. The funeral director then asked everyone to kneel and promised to honor the deceased's wishes for a burial instead. After this, when they returned to the coffin, the body had mysteriously reappeared, leaving everyone in shock. Other funeral professionals have reported hearing unexplained sounds in funeral homes, smelling unusual fragrances in empty rooms, or feeling sudden cold drafts, all of which contribute to the eerie atmosphere surrounding these places. One family member, during a funeral service, suddenly smelled the scent of roast pork rice, a fragrance that should not have been present. Later, they realized that it was the same aroma from the deceased's former roast meat shop. Such peculiar experiences leave people pondering the mysterious aspects of the funeral industry. Chapter 6: Hong Kong's Views on Death. Chinese culture has long held a mysterious and tabooed attitude toward death. Funerals and funeral homes are often considered ominous and unsettling places because they are directly associated with death. Traditional practices such as burning paper substitutes, paper houses, and gold and silver paper contribute to the smoky atmosphere that can make people feel uneasy or fearful. The cold temperatures inside funeral homes, combined with the smoke from incense and candles, create a dark and eerie atmosphere. Moreover, the quiet and solemn environment can easily trigger people's imaginations and fears. Furthermore, death is often portrayed in popular culture, such as in ghost movies, zombie films, and paranormal stories, where funeral homes and parlors are frequently used as chilling backdrops, amplifying public fear and apprehension towards these places. Nevertheless, in recent years, there have been social initiatives aiming to dispel the fear of death. Events like death awareness exhibitions and open house days at funeral homes have encouraged the public to face the topic of death, understand the funeral process, and thereby reduce anxiety and fear surrounding the subject.
I'm Kim. Please subscribe, like, and share. And stay with me. You will never face the dark unknown.